Remakes seem to be all the rage lately, especially remakes of survival horror games. Going into 2023, we will have Deadspace, Alone in the Dark, Silent Hill 2, and even Resident Evil 4 all making a comeback. Now, Capcom set the standard for remakes way back in 2002 when they originally made the original Resident Evil on the GameCube. That remake was done so well that it holds up even 20 years later. Then in 2019, they shocked the world again and released the long-awaited fan favorite Resident Evil 2 remake. And boy, did this blow us all away. From the improved graphics to the additional content to the game, it was pretty much a love letter to survival horror fans across the board. Now I know that Remake 3 was released and was sort of disappointing to many people, but I still say it was at least a decent remake. While it was not as good as the first two games, it was still fun and I got a ton of playtime out of it. Not making excuses for that game, just giving it my honest opinion. With all of that said, I definitely think the Resident Evil 4 remake will be more among the quality of RE1 and RE2 remakes, and will be a total blast for fans of the series to enjoy. I think they will avoid the mistakes that were made in 2020 with the Resident Evil 3 remake, and will once again prove that Capcom still holds the crown for the best remakes out there. Now, before we take a deep dive into Leon's quest to save the president's daughter, I would like to take a brief moment and welcome anyone new to the channel. If you are new, please consider subscribing. I got a ton of stuff in the works that I'd love to share with you all. Also, if you do happen to enjoy the video, let me know by dropping a like. But anyways guys, we got a lot to get into, so without further ado, let's get into it. So I know Resident Evil 4 has basically been ported to every modern platform, and anyone interested in the game realistically has access to it. I would even say that the controls and gameplay have held out greatly today. In fact, I still go back and play the original from time to time. Having said all that, I still cannot help but be excited about this upcoming remake. Resident Evil has had a very B-rated horror movie trope since the very beginning of this series. And with this upcoming remake, it definitely seems that it's going to be much more darker and scarier than the original game ever had. Having said that, I do hope that with this new direction that they keep a lot of the overblown cheesiness the original game had, because it's something I really enjoyed from that game. I mean, one of the big baddies is literally called the Big Cheese.
Perfect. The Big Cheese. What?
How could you not love that dialogue? Now, why I definitely think the game should keep the cheese factor that fans really appreciate, I do think this upcoming remake should definitely add content. One of the coolest things about RE1 was the addition of Lisa Trevor. With RE2, it was the addition of going to new locations in Raccoon City, such as the daycare center. Luckily for us, there was tons of content that was cut from the original release of this amazing game. There was once a version of this game where Leon had to fight possessed dolls, ghosts, and tons of other unique monsters. While I'm not suggesting they change the story and add in random new enemies, it would be cool if some of this content made its way into the remake. After all, Leon does get infected with the virus, so it would make sense if the game had nightmare sequences or areas where Leon has vivid hallucinations. Not only would I really enjoy seeing the new enemies and cut content, I would also appreciate it if Ada and Louis had bigger parts in this game. Getting a little more information on Louis's backstory would be incredible. Seeing him and Leon interact more would add such a great dynamic to this game. Now, I do want to point out I have seen some drama concerning Louis's remodel design online. So here's a picture of him in the original side by side with the remake model. In the original, his outfit seems so out of place, like he's straight up from a different time period altogether. I think this did add some charm and made the game that much better. But I will let you all decide for yourselves what you think of the character model differences. As for Ada Wong, her character is definitely one that is mainly clouded in mystery. So while I would love to see her more in the story, I do understand that that might be kind of harder to do. However, she did have a side campaign in later releases of the original game. So it would be cool if they included that side campaign but expanded upon that and gave us a little bit of a longer adventure where we just play as Ada and see her events through this journey. Now, no matter what direction Capcom decides to go, I definitely think this remake will be a smash success. Not only with sales, but with fan recognition, and it's something we will all appreciate. I think they'll keep the same DNA of the original, but add interesting new content that expands upon the game that we all love, much like they did with RE1 and 2. This is going to be something that really is a treasure and a love letter to the fan base. As long as we don't get cut content, I'm looking at you, Clock Tower from Resident Evil 3. Actually, if they do cut content, hopefully they cut the QTE boss fight you have with Krazer. In fact, I wouldn't mind if they cut out all the button mashing and QTEs in the game as well. Leon, after all, does look pretty weak running away from boulders, while Chris can simply just punch them out of the way. Anyways guys, I want to hear your thoughts on this. Are you interested in this upcoming remake, or do you think they'll botch it just like they did with Resident Evil 3? Also, going forward, what franchise would you like to see Capcom bring back next? I would love if they brought back Mega Man Legends and Haunting Grounds. But anyways guys, I got a ton of work to do, so I'm gonna get back to the grind and I'll catch you all next time. Peace.